In this video, I want to talk to you about the 10 signs that you are setting yourself up for failure. Whether that's making more money, starting a business, whatever your goal is in life, if you have just one of these things present in your life, you need to make an immediate change. So let's get into it. So number one is you don't believe that your goal is possible. Listen, if you don't believe on a subconscious level that your goal is attainable, you won't do it. So maybe your goal is to make $1 million a month, but right now you're making $1,000 a month. There's such a big gap, and if you've never done it before, then your brain is not going to believe that it's possible, and that will just cause you to self-sabotage and stop from actually moving forward. So Roger Bannister was the man that ran the first 4-minute mile. He believed that it was true, even though everybody else thought that your heart would explode out of your chest. Now, shortly after he ran the 4-minute mile, a ton of people started doing it, and now a lot of people can do it. So if you don't believe it's possible, like the Wright brothers knew and they believed that they could fly. Everybody else thought they were crazy. What are you doing with that flying contraption? That'll never work. They believed it was possible. They made it happen. So if you're trying to set your goals too big, sometimes you don't believe that it's possible and you actually don't get any of it done. So set yourself smaller increments in these goals if you really think that your subconscious mind doesn't think it's possible. Vision boards. A lot of the times people will put this huge mansion up, which is great. You need to program your subconscious mind to believe that. If you're looking at that picture of that mansion every day and you're trying to visualize yourself living there, but you can't truly believe it, then you're setting yourself up for failure because you're just creating distance between you and that goal. So make sure that you believe it on a subconscious level. Number two is you live in fear. You are pessimistic. You are always looking at the glass half empty, not half full. Look, I can't tell you how many people I've seen try to start a business, but they're always scanning for the first thing to go wrong. You need to be stupidly optimistic when you start a business. It doesn't mean you don't need to be smart and you need to look out for things, because you do, but you need to have your eye on the prize, and if anything comes in between you and your goal, you need to just figure out how to get around it. So many people set a goal and then they go out to hit it, and the first thing that comes up, they just let that stop them. They're always looking for reasons why it can't work. You have to live from an optimistic point of view. You can't live in fear. You can't be always looking at the negative. You got to flip that up. And for some people, it's going to be a lot harder than others, but please be optimistic. If you're trying to hit a goal, you can't get there if you're living in fear and lack. So number three is you are a deer in the headlights. And what I mean by this is you stop and you overanalyze and you don't actually move towards your goal. So for instance, there's this kid that I know that works at a local restaurant here in San Diego. I've known him for years, and we met and he asked me what I did for a living.
And he said, oh, I want to do something like that. I want to get out of the restaurant industry. I want to go do something.
And I'm not shitting on this kid because I did this for years too. But this kid is still working in the same place. He hasn't changed anything. He spends all this time looking at YouTube videos, all this time on the internet, browsing ways to make more money, get better jobs, when really he just needs to take massive action. So don't be a deer in the headlights. Don't sit and overanalyze. You actually have to get started and moving towards your goal, because your goal is not going to move towards you. You have to move towards your goal. All right, so the next one, number four, is you are trying too many things at once. I see this a lot in the entrepreneurial space. People will get on YouTube, they'll learn a way to make money, and that way actually might work. However, it doesn't work fast enough, so they try something else and they try something else, and they read all these books that say millionaires have multiple streams of income, which is true. However, they don't start 5 or 6 streams of income at once. They start one, they get it self-efficient, and then they move on to the other. If you're trying to do too many things at once, nothing will be successful. I use this example of if you're trying to dig down to some gold that's 6 feet underground, why would you dig 5 holes that are 2 feet underground, right? You still dig enough depth, but you didn't dig it in one direction. So all that work that you put in got spread out between a bunch of different holes, and you never got to the gold. If you were to just commit and just dig that same amount of effort into one hole, you would actually get to the goal. So don't try too many things at once. Don't fall into the trap of millionaires have multiple streams of income, because although it's true, they never, and I mean never, start 5 or 6 things at once. One at a time, chip off the block, and keep moving forward. This leads me to number 5, which is people quit before they see the results. They give up too soon. So imagine this. You plant some seeds in the ground and you start watering it, right? The sun hits it, you're watering it for a few days, but you don't see any results, so you walk away and you just go plant another one. You stop watering that one. Well, that plant is never going to grow. However, you need to continuously water it and get it good sunlight. Otherwise, it'll never actually sprout up. So a lot of people will be giving up way too soon. They'll put all this work in. Because they don't see an immediate gratification from it, they actually give up and just walk away. Listen, if you are going to do something, you have to commit. You can't give up too soon. So again, if you're gonna plant a plant, keep watering it, keep putting the work in, and eventually you'll see that sprout. Once you start to see it sprout, it makes it a lot easier to keep going, but you have to have faith that this is going to work, and sometimes that just takes commitment. So let me pause real quick. I wanna just tell you guys something. When I make these videos, my goal is really to talk to myself when I was like 19, 20, 21 years old. So when I'm making these videos, I know that sometimes it sounds like I'm trying to tell people what to do, and in some cases, some people need that, but my goal with this is to just give you guys the information I wish I had when I was younger. So in any of my videos, if I sound like I'm telling you what to do, it's because my message is directly to my younger self. I know there's a lot of people out there, hopefully you're like that, but that is why I make these videos like this. So hopefully that makes sense. And if you like these videos, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. A lot of people will watch these videos continuously, but they're not subscribed. What the hell? If you like the channel, go ahead and leave a comment that you like it and leave a subscribe. It helps me know that I'm doing a good job and it tells me what videos to keep focusing on. All right, let's get back to it. So number 6 is you self-sabotage. You get in your own way, you stop things from actually happening. I watched 2 of my best friends start businesses. They had a clear plan of what they needed to do. Make more sales calls, get more customers on the phone, process more payments, just do the little things that are already working consistently. But because they subconsciously don't believe that they deserve what they're going after, they self-sabotage. They stop doing the things that they know that they need to do. And that keeps them from hitting their goal. So whether it's fitness, whether it's making money, whether it's relationships, stop self-sabotaging yourself. We all do it. We all need to identify it and nip it in the bud because that's going to stop you from seeing success and it will cause you to fail. Number 7 is the grass is always greener on the other side. Right? Constantly looking at other things will stop you from hitting your goal. If you're always focused on why other things will be better, you'll never succeed at anything because you'll never put the right amount of work into something. So for instance, I see so many entrepreneurs start businesses and then want to focus on other things because they get this pie in the sky, pink cloud of starting another business because they think the grass is greener on that side. They leave their business, they go start something else, and by the time they realize that that's also not great and there's going to be hard work required in any of it, they want to come back to their other thing and now that's collapsed. And they just continue bouncing from one thing to another. So if you're always looking at other things, other places, other reasons why you could be successful or happy in other things, and you're not focused on your main goal, you're setting yourself up for failure. So number 8 is you lack commitment. You are not committing to your actual goal. You start the goal because it's exciting, and then you give up somewhere along the way. If you're not committed to the end goal, and you're not determined to make it happen no matter what, the chance of you hitting that goal are far, far, far less. So when I started my business, I moved out to California with almost no money. I knew for a fact you could not tell me that I was wrong, even though logic should have told me that I was wrong. I knew for a fact that I was gonna make a multi-million-dollar company. And sure, it wasn't easy and a million things happened that should have stopped me and could have stopped me. But the one thing that separates the successful from the failures is their commitment to their goals and the fact that they have an unwavering determination that they're going to get that goal done. You have to know for a fact that you're going to get this done, because if you don't, every little difficult thing that comes along the way that will happen when you're doing anything great, you're going to use that as an excuse to find your way out. So you need to commit and you need to go 100% all in on this goal, and you need to just tackle it. Okay, number 9. This is a huge thing that stops people from being successful, and it's not knowing your why. When it gets hard, when you start a business and things get tricky, your why, your reason for why you're doing this thing, whether it's a business, whether it's another career, whatever it is, your why, your reason for doing it is going to get you through those hard times. So when I moved to California and I started my business, I knew that it was going to be successful but I knew because my why was there. I wanted the freedom to start my own business. I wanted to be able to pay my parents' bills and their mortgage, which I do now. That was my why. When shit wasn't going well, when I got my car repoed, when I was almost getting evicted from my apartment when I moved here, my why is what kept me pushing forward. And if I didn't have that why, I wouldn't be here right now. So you need to understand why you're doing this and make sure that it is ingrained in your soul that that is why you're going to commit forward. That will help you get to your goal. But if you don't know your why, you're probably going to fail. All right, so the last one, number 10, is you get a high. You get a rush from setting goals. It's easy to go, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to make $150,000 a year and this is going to be great, right? You picture it, you plan it out, you map it, you have everything perfect. And then you just got this rush of feeling like you already have it. You get this rush from setting these goals and thinking so big, but then the hard part comes, which is doing the work, and you don't do it. I did this for a long time. I set so many goals and I got so excited and motivated and ready to go with fitness, with money, with personal relationships, whatever it is. I set these goals and I got a rush from it. I got a big dopamine spike. But then when it gets boring and monotonous to put in the work, you give up. I did it too. So if you're setting goals, you need to actually, again, I know I'm kind of being redundant and a lot of these things are coming over and over again in this, but you need to commit to your goal and you need to not just get a rush from beginning, you need to get a rush from actually getting the result. Instant gratification is your worst enemy. You need to understand that happiness comes from putting off things in the short term to get them in the long term. So guys, if you guys got value from this, drop a comment. I want to know if there's anything else that I missed on this list. These are things that I have struggled with. And if you like content like this, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with a friend that you think could benefit from it. So anyways, that was the 10 signs that you were setting yourself up for failure. I hope that you saw some things that you're doing in your life that you could change. If you see something on that list that is in your life, make that change right now. Don't just watch this video and get a rush. Make the change. Stop doing these things that are stopping you from being successful. If you want to be successful, you got to put the work in. That being said, get after it. Hope you guys have a great week and peace.